What's good, YouTube, and welcome to the house. This is not a drill. The ban list is here all of a sudden and effective from December 3rd. So we're on the EU page, so the dates are backward. We got that wrong once before. Wow, I was out the door just now. I ran all the way back up here. So I specifically have a ban list layout ready, and we're gonna scroll through and be surprised together. Astrograph's still there. All right. We haven't hit anything forbidden yet. Well, Firewall! Yes! Woo! Oh, where's your plot armor now? Oh, they were putting everything. They were putting decode behind Yusaku and everything. Where's your plot armor now? This was needed so much. We got past like where Cannon Soldier would be, and I was like, oh, okay, what is happening? Is this a real update? Oh my gosh. No need to hit any of the other burn cards. I like the argument people were giving. They were saying how, like, Cannon Soldier's been a problem before, but it was never a problem before Firewall Dragon. All the way since the inception of MRD, it was only odd-off, like, decks. It never hit in the meta. This is like a resounding fix. Like, this could be the end of the ban list, and I might be actually content. Like, this is actually insane. We're gonna come back to this and just have the discussion, the typical Firewall needed to go discussion. Really? Really? That's the only ban! Firewall Dragon is the only ban. Wow, tell me, okay. Armageddon Knight is put to 1. I think this needed to happen. Armageddon Knight was becoming too amazing of a starter. And Isolde is still gonna turbo this out, but this was what turboed out Isolde. So roundabout, they've hurt how Malicious works directly through this hit. It's a pretty good hit overall. Like, this was giving the Phantom Knight engine a lot of power too. It's just too big of a starter card, but still able to be Isolded out. We'll see maybe Warrior strategies focus on that more. I don't know that it's actually going to hurt Armageddon Knight the most, but definitely hurts stuff like Malicious being played. Is that it? Really? No way. Is this like one of the smallest updates ever? Like, I get the format is super diverse. Wow. That is actually the only limit. I get the format is super diverse right now, but diversity doesn't mean health. I actually had a whole conversation prepared about that we'll touch lightly on here. Wow. Malicious to 2. Alright, there you go. So Malicious didn't need to be hurt just by Armageddon Knight. That heavily weakens the entire Dark Engine. Boy. And we actually have some unlimits that I can't get on the screen here. So let me do some John Moore video editing done quick. Dark Destroyer to 3. Call by the Grave. Back to 3. This is interesting. All the pros are really angry. And a Assault Core. This is like a list that really did listen to the community in a lot of aspects. It's weird to not see a single hit on Trickstar or Goki, though, or Gumbler. Like, Firewall, I guess, facilitated a lot for Goki, so their boards will be harder to make. But I think you can Gumblar board without Firewall. So Gumblar's still, like, this really huge, glaring problem as we head into the next formats. And this is interesting. Let's talk about our unlimits real quick. A Assault Core, nice to see you back, buddy. ABC budget deck back in the hands of players, recognized by Konami. I like that one. It's almost like they admitted their mistake there. Cosmo Dark Destroyer is here. I like that. I don't think it'll change too much, but it's nice to see full power kind of handed back a little bit to the Cosmos with their boss monster. And Call by the Grave. So, like, a lot of the pro duelists disliked this card in the interaction with the game, but it's also a check and balance to the hand traps. So, like, with Firewall gone, I think Call by the Grave becomes a lot healthier because, like, your Call by the Graves are really good. Like, the turn 1 player that had Firewall was able to loop off, and if they had Call by the Grave in addition, then stopping a hand trap that was meant as a check and balance to the game was kind of too big of an advantage. So the people seeing Call by the Grave first with Firewall in the game was completely unfair. Now that each player has access to 3 again, I kind of like that. Wow. So I think it's a pretty good check and balance to the semi-limits. Man, let's go ahead and slide back on up here to our very minimalistic list. I kind of predicted a minimalistic list, and I really didn't want to see Sky Strikers get hit much harder, because the problem with Sky Strikers getting really slammed is that they're a balanced deck. They just gain insane advantage, but they have to play so correctly in order to achieve their success. So seeing Sky Strikers not hit at all, oh man, Hornet Drones has been falling like crazy till this point. Not Hornet Drones, Engage. Like, this is actually insane. Hornet's still at 1. No other hit to Sky Striker period on this list. Like, that's pretty good. So they really went after the Dark deck. They went after what they saw as the problem, the FTKs. Konami tends to stranglehold FTKs by the throat, and the major facilitator is our only ban card. Let's press some Fs for Firewall, boys, although highly deserved. Highly wanted. The problem with Firewall is, without an errata, it loops. And loops, period, are bad for the game. It's cool to see a unique loop that took a lot of resources into it. And at first, Link 4 seemed like they would be a lot of resource. But Firewall was just so dang easy to make generically. And you have access to loops not through your main deck, through some unsearchable means, but you can just make a loop creator in your extra deck, and that was kind of the problem. Anything that had a resource game was able to spew itself out onto the field thanks to Firewall, and that was just too much. It needed something. It needed a ban or an errata, and an errata kind of ruins the point of the card in a lot of senses. So it's interesting to see this end up banned as the entire community wanted. I think the pressure on the social media page, maybe? I don't freaking know. Now we can finally... Oh, stop posting there. I actually never posted on that, but I saw you guys. I saw you guys out there in protest, and that's maybe one of the most peaceful and entertaining protests that the community ever had. Firewall Dragon. Good job, Konami. You gotta give Konami props where it's due. Like, this is a touch-up list, and in a very diverse format. Like, diversity doesn't mean healthy. Like, Firewall and Gumball are problems. Gumball still exists. So that's so weird. Like, to see... They figured that maybe the Firewall looping would calm Gumball. We're going to enter this phase, I think, where we're going to see U-Link Gumball break my board kind of become a bigger thing, but we have Sky Strikers still to balance that out. And also it's still break my board when you get into it with Thunder Dragons. It's such a weird balance. The hole that's going to be ripped open and left by the Danger Dark Warrior, or maybe it adapts. Maybe you're able... No, too malicious. I don't think it's going to be adapting like you would want it to. You almost can't handle drawing malicious anymore, like when you have only 2 of them. So the Dark Warrior engine's heavily slayed here unless they're really going to go after Armageddon Knight and play the equip bricks. Like, this is just such a interesting list. Like, it's so minimalistic, yet it did so much. It ripped the heart out of one of the biggest decks. It ripped the problem out of future formats and this format, so I'm very glad it's gone. It brought back some interesting unlimits with Dark Destroyer and Call By Back. What do you guys think of this ban list in the comment section down below? Like, is this like 6 total cards? 1, 2, 3, 4 right here, and then 1 in each section. 6 cards total. I can't remember the last time we had so few touch-ups, and I don't think the diversity in this format was necessarily healthy. A lot of people don't like tier 0 formats, but you can have a healthy tier 0 format, and then you can have very healthy diverse formats like Gumball, Firewall, FTKs made for it not being so healthy. And they leave the burn cards, which I'm honestly, I don't mind too much as long as you don't create loop cards. Cards like Cannon Soldier are unproblematic. That's fine. That's completely fine. And they can become a problem again later at some point in the game if you mess up in your card creation. I don't think they necessarily limit card creation. They limit loop creation, which is inherently bad for a card game to have, period. And in order for the loops to, you know, be quote-unquote there, they must be very inconsistent so that throughout a tournament they don't regularly take it down. So I'm happy overall with this. It's interesting to not see a hit to Trickstars or a direct hit to Goki. I was expecting a direct hit to Goki and a direct hit to Trickstars, and we see that nowhere here. That's a weird place to be in. But again, what did you guys think? Subscribe if you haven't already. We have a P.O. box open down below for you guys to send stuff into, and Patreons can get return mail as long as you send postage so you can get cards signed and all that. Like the video if you enjoyed the conversation, and seriously, what do you think of this? It's so minimalistic.